I want to live truth. Even if it kills me, I'm going to live truth. And truth is, the Bible says that the herbs are for the healing of the nations. Today, why do we go to see the doctor to give us a chemical when the Bible says the herbs are for the healing?
Look, our people really think we free, we ain't free at all. I ain't just talking about them real niggas that behind the wall. I'm talking about that shit that's in your food. He putting on a skirt and makeup, but he a dude. Them lies on the news, they put shit on in our food cause they wanted to lose. Whole country about money, nigga, look at the clues. You ain't sick, then America don't get paid. They feed us anything, make it look good, and we they slaves. Nigga, that shit crazy. They don't really care, that's why they killed Dr. Sabi. He cured every disease, he could've healed your baby. If nobody was sick, then America wouldn't get them chips. It's about that money. They say we equal, but you know we not. White people getting tased, blacks getting shot. Rest in peace to the fallen. You know you hurting God chosen people. You know you all slaves to that eagle. Smile in his face, but his heart full of evil. Picking up the Bible, that done made my mind lethal. Everybody see through. Pray for my people. I'm just trying to wake them up. They just trying to kick it up. They really from that struggle, nigga. They just trying to make it up. His brother so dope, so that habit, he gon' take it up. But he ain't gon' make it though. It's day one hating though. He gon' either snitch or get him filled up with bullets. So boy need a man in his life. You damn right. A godly man, he don't need no damn dyke. You know what say? I probably made him mad, but God say it's wrong, but America say it right. They gon' say ain't nobody perfect. I can't stand it. God say you wanna be perfect, do my commandments. Only God can judge me, he already did. But you won't read the Bible to save your own kids. White man wrote the Bible, that's a lie. He don't want you read it, boy, he want your ass to die. So the people, now we tracing the people. And they mad, nigga, we ain't gon' let it fly. All praise to your hour and the sun, your hour shy. Found out we got chosen, they gon' lie, say it's a lie. Wake up, prepare war, that's Joe 3 and 9. Why they try and go to space? Cause they know they about to die. Hurry and tell me free the slaves, nigga, it was in their blood. Same thing Moses did. Stuck selling drugs, and we stuck selling slugs. Time to wake up out the devil, time to get back to the roots. Time to keep God's commandments, time to get back to the truth. Living in the last days, God waking up his truth. If you keeping them commandments, all praises, I salute.
I salute. Welcome to the Hebrew state of being. I am your humble servant and host for tonight. I am Kayel. And in the building, I got my Rev, my Esther, my Round, Miss Artist 28. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, man. We're going to light up the frankincense and myrrh for our Shabbat. Got a delay? Yeah. Yeah. Make sure we get there. We go. Oh, praises. Let this skipping going. Get done with. Just checking something out, guys. Let's, 1 second where everybody gets in the building. All right, I see everybody's getting in the building. All right, we are just checking to make sure that it is going to move over with our presentation tonight. Make sure. Still freezing up. Yeah. All right, there it is. All right, so just wanted to make sure that the screen was following me. First, it was not, so I wanted to make sure that it was, and it is, so we can start the show. Yes, getting this frankincense and myrrh going. Yes, because we got a beautiful night tonight. It's a beautiful Shabbat, man. We got planned for you guys tonight. All week, I've been telling you guys that we were going to have a special Shabbat. We were going to talk about manna and how manna is still falling to the earth right now. That's right. Shabbat Shabbat Shalom. Get that frankincense and myrrh going, baby. Man, we'll crack that window, love. Mm-hmm. So, all right. I see my brother Adam's in the building. I see my brother Yuan's in the building. All praises. And we got 4 others in there. All right. Somewhere I'm sure Ty's in the building. All right. Everybody come on in and come back. There we go. All right. Is that you putting hearts up, baby? You're not putting fingers up. All right. So we got other people. Facebook does not let me know who's in the building. And that's okay because we got a great show. So let's get into it, right? Let's just talk about our topic and our subject for the night, guys. Forgive me for the tardiness and getting to the subject, as my Uncle Lee likes to tell me. You need to get into it faster. So, he probably wouldn't be too pleased with the way we started the show all this evening. But the Most High is pleased. Why? Because we're giving His word tonight. Yes, we are not falling short of our duty tonight. So, speaking of the Most High, speaking of our duty, right? So when we're speaking of the Most High and we're following His days, His laws, statutes, and commandments, we are doing the things of ancient times before what they call His story. Shouts out to Skip, UTP, and Chicken and Watermelon today. I want to see y'all. He had a beautiful shirt that they got going on over there, Chicken and Watermelon. Blasphemy. Don't blaspheme. Now, he's a rapper. So my brother does it with the double entendre, right? Got 2 meanings for it, right? So don't blaspheme. It's what we know is don't speak against the Most High, the Ruach HaKodesh. That's in the scripture as blasphemy. Here, the second part is what we in the hood have taken the word blasphemy and taken it in an American terminology. And in the hood, that means you'll shoot for me. So I love how this shirt is saying, don't kill the Most High's creation for me because you feel some type of way because somebody killed me. Or you feel some type of way because somebody done me wrong. Don't blast for me. I just love it, man. I think it's a great shirt. Chicken and Watermelon on Claiborne Street. They got more locations, man, but check them out. The food is good. I had the chicken and palm today myself. My brother had the fish fry. Yeah, they doing the chicken ring. They're doing the wings and fish fry, boy. Down here in New Orleans, we'll fish fry anything. Put your toe in there, we'll fish fry. So, yeah, so man, check out my brothers, man, down there, Skip, YouTube, UTP, and get you some wings and get you some shirts and understand how our community is waking up. This is coming from the hood, you know what I'm saying? And the hood is printing shirts that have blasphemy on it. I'm just like, you know what I'm saying? My bae saw it the first time. She's like, "Ooh, I like that." Yeah. So, to our lesson, that manna is still falling to this day. Manna that's written in the book for our people when we were walking through the wilderness for 40 years. The Most High provided manna for us. Now, a lot of people say the book ain't real. It's written by white people. Like my brother Hezekiah in the opening song stated, right? And please check out the brother Hezekiah on YouTube. He has outstanding music. So he's saying, people, our people, because we have been tormented and tortured by the people that give us this image and say that it is Yasha, it is a representation of the seed that came from David. So because this image has been the symbol of oppression to our people automatically say, this must be written by the Caucasian, our oppressor. This is what they immediately go towards. Because this image that has been given to us with blonde hair and blue eyes, that is supposed to be representing the New Testament and the Old Testament, is supposed to be the Son of the Most High, that this shirt says, do not speak against, don't blaspheme. Because that symbol has been used to oppress our people, to subjugate our people, the Christopher Columbus boat was called the Jesus, the good boat of Jesus, something to that effect. Because this image has been used as our oppression, our people believe that this book was written by them, but it is to the contrary. They wrote the New Testament, but they did not write the Old Testament. See, the Quran, the Muslim faith, follows the Old Testament as well. They call Moses Musa. These are facts. The Talmuds, the Jews, the Khazarian Jews that are in Israel right now have the Talmud. They do not follow the Torah. They follow the Talmud. But they all have the Torah, the first 5 books of Moses, as their foundation. So when we see that the basis of all of these Abrahamic religions, and Hebrew would not be an Abrahamic religion, by the way, for the ones that can get that confused. Being a Shemitic and Hebrew, a people of the Old Testament, the followers of Moses, the followers of Joshua, the followers of Ezekiel, Jeremiah, and Isaiah, those people were our ancestors. We are their descendants. As the Most High says it, we are the inheritance, and us that are here now are the remnant of those. When they say this book is written by another people, manna has never fallen in any other place but in Africa. And also another misnomer that many believe that Israel, or what we call it as Yasharallah, which is the correct Hebraic term for the region, it is called Yasharallah, not Israel. Well, Yasharallah is on the tectonic plate of Africa, so it's actually Africa. Many get that confused, but Yasharallah rather is Africa. So this manna, this bread, this food that came from the heavens that are chronicled for our people that followed Moses out of Egypt through the 40 years in the wilderness, as the Most High fed them with manna, bread, and quail. I'm telling you tonight that manna still falls in Africa, in Angola. Here in New Orleans, we have a prison called Angola. Do you think that's kind of odd that in Louisiana, they would have a prison that houses the majority melanated Negroes? It's called Angola. Many times we just walk past these things that we hear every day, and we have no idea the symbolism or the root of it. Since we know that prisons were made for the ghetto, for the oppressed people that stole for food, that committed what this society calls a crime, even though the same society starves those same people, even though this society has enslaved those same people, even though this society steals through Wall Street and through many, many, many political arenas. They constantly steal from corporate to political. But yet, the low man on a totem pole that feels the effects of their death at the highest heights are the ones that are inflicted and put in these prisons. So, when we're understanding manna, and we're understanding who the people are that received manna, understanding that Yasharallah was absolutely and still is in Africa, and that manna this day is falling in Africa, but not in Yasharallah where the so-called people are, but in Angola, in a place that had maybe the worst slavery ever. Like, we hear about the slavery in New Orleans. We hear about the slavery in North America. We hear about the slavery in the Caribbean. We understand that indentured servitude turned into chattel slavery, also turned into white supremacy. We understand that clearly in history. It tells us the progression to that. But what we don't get in their history is who we were. So they talk about all the effects that happened to us, but for some reason, they don't know exactly who we are. They grabbed us from Africa, and somehow they know the area, but they don't know the tribes, they don't know the people. We can't somehow in America, we can't be connected directly to the tribe and the vicinity that we came from in this Africa. They have everything else. They have all these records, but they do not have that part. Isn't that odd? My baby has a business. She has to do inventory. She has to order the products. She has to send them out. She has to know where the product came from, how much the product cost, who made the product, because she does her own thing with whatever product that comes here. So she has to know what things she can apply to it. Does that material, can it handle this? Does the material go into the oven? Does the material go into the freezer? Does the material, can I put straight fire to this material? You have to know what it is that you are possessing. But yet they can't seem to tell us who we are. Just we came from Africa. You got to go to do a DNA, get your blood, and they can tell you where you from in Africa. And then they can't even tell you what, still can't tell you what tribe you came from. They still can't tell you that. They give you a bunch of slots of where your DNA has traveled. They don't tell you when you get that's the travel of the ones that were expelled from Yasharallah, that went through the interiors of Africa, all the way to the west coast of Africa, all the way to Spain and France, which we call in our scripture Tarshish. Mm. Yes, I see my brother Eugene in the building. You got to know who you are to know where you're going. Exactly, my rib. You got to know who you are to know where you're going, or they're going to give you a route. And trust me, that route that they're giving is a lie. Just like everything else they have been given is a lie. Because why wouldn't they tell you that manna is falling in Africa to this day? That the Most High's hand is still here. Then maybe we can connect these volcanoes, these earthquakes to the Most High. Maybe we can connect these hurricanes and these typhoons to the Most High. Maybe we can figure out that the Most High is upset with this earth on this Shabbat. But we're going to explain what manna is through the scripture. And then we're going to introduce you to a gentleman named Simon Toko. Simon Toko is from the same place where the manna falls, Angola. And as I was going and I lost my thought, I was speaking about in Angola where this manna falls. And as I was talking about the worst slavery to ever happen, that slavery in Leopold done by the Dutch is where they cut off the hands of the Africans that didn't pick enough product for the day. So bad that Leopold is standing by, I have a picture of Leopold standing by a very large mound of hands that he's chopped. We're talking about a mound. You know how small your hand is. You know how many hands you have to make a mound taller than a man over 6 feet tall? Right. Some had both their hands. So in this same town that is called Leopoldville, for Leopold, this place is where manna falls to this day. But let's find where it was and how it fell when Moses brought it forth, because manna was never known to man before Moses. So again, when people tell you this book is made up, there is actual scientific facts and evidence of manna. So if manna really exists, right? If they can scientifically prove that manna still exists or existed, and then now we can prove tonight that manna is falling, then don't we have to recognize the power of the Most High? Society doesn't want that. Society can't have that because they need us to believe in their lie. Let's get to our scripts, and what I'm gonna do is blow the shofar. Baby, can you pull up the shofar on your phone, bud? Babe? And because I'm using all of mine, and if I go to another YouTube channel, it's gonna mess up the stream that is going right now, and I don't want to do that. And then the TV is set for the film. So yeah, everybody, we do need a little help when it comes to the technology and getting the show going in certain places, but we still get the word done. We still get the job done. Thank you, God. Here we go, guys. We're going to face the east as we do this, and we pray that the words that you hear tonight is for you, not my direction, not where I sent you, but what the Most High can give you that you can apply in your everyday life starting right now. That's what we pray when this ram's horn is being blown as the symbol of what our people did to call our people, all the tribes, to assembly. Say la, say la, say la, say la. All right, so here you go. All right, so as we get it going, we're gonna pull up Psalms chapter 78. Oh, my computer's moving real slow. Wow. Yeah, I think. Ooh-wee. Here we go. Goodness gracious. Psalm 78, verse 23 reads, though he had commanded the clouds from above and opened the doors of heaven, and had rained down manna upon them to eat, and had given them of corn, given them of the corn of heaven. So they describe manna as the corn of Shemayim, of the heavens. Shemayim is the Hebrew word for heaven. So he had rained down manna upon them to eat, and had given them of the corn of heaven. Man did eat angels' food. He sent them meat to the full. 40 years, brought out of Egypt, no town. You're not in any civilization. You are not around any fast foods. You don't have a stove like talking about it. You don't have any of the amenities of an everyday life. You are out in the wilderness. The Most High provides for us no matter what. That's the theme of this. The theme of manna is still falling today means that the Most High's covenant is still falling today. And he says that I will take care of you. I will provide for you. Just trust in me, follow my commandments, and I will take care of everything. It may seem rocky because I'm getting rid of all the iniquity around you. I'm getting rid of all the iniquity inside you. It's going to be a little rocky, but know that I got you. And when it gets rocky and you're not sure how you're going to eat, you're not sure how the bill's going to get paid, that's when I'm testing to make sure that you trusting in me, that you are coming to me, that you're not going to turn around and turn. So you got to understand, the Most High, he doesn't have post-traumatic syndrome. What the Most High has is a memory. And all of our ancestors have gone against him. No matter how much he's raised us up, we have turned and went to false gods. So don't take it personal when the Most High wants to see if you are about it. Don't take it personal if the Most High tests the things that you know is the deepest of your temptations. Don't feel some type of way, because the Most High has to know that you got it, that you aren't playing, that you aren't catching the new fad because, oh yes, believe it or not, Hebrew is the new fad, huh, baby? Hebrew is the new black. You know what I'm saying? Well, Rip and I have been in this for 4 years. I know brothers been in here for much longer. And let me tell you, we felt very, very alone. You know what I'm saying? Now, oh my goodness. I was the only one I saw in New Orleans wearing fringes. 6 months, a year later, fringes. A year and a half later, IUIC. Trying to make sure, yeah, we are thorough as he made us all praises. Exactly, my brother, exactly. So this manna falling, right, is the Most High's covenant. It's it says that when we were in the wilderness and had nothing, there's nobody to rely on. There's no king. There's no, you know what I'm saying? It's just Moses and Aaron and the elders. Most High said, I want you to focus on forgetting your old ways. So I don't want you to think about food. See, I don't want you to get caught up in the production of food. I don't want you to get caught up in doing things that are taking you away from learning this law. Because as we know in these 40 years, the elders that came from Egypt, they couldn't get it. They couldn't shake Egypt out of them. They couldn't take the bondage out of them so much that they attacked Moses. They attacked Aaron. They said, you could have left us in Egypt for all of this. You brought us out here so we could die out here. They could not let the nipple, the pacifier that they were on, they couldn't let it go. For the little milk that it gave them, they couldn't let it go. When the Most High says, look, I got to take you out of that. I got to wash you 40 years. I got to wash you of this world. I got to put my true covenant and law in you so that when I give you the promised land, you see how he does it? So if you're looking at your life and while you're going through it, you are coming out of Egypt in your life. You are coming out of the things that you did that were not of the Most High. And it's time that you're being tested, as my brother said, as he's checking your chin. Put yourself in your ancestors' position when they were in the wilderness. Yeah. But don't fall the fate of our elders, because they couldn't shake the world. They couldn't figure it out. They couldn't get what the Most High was saying. So he let them die. He killed many of them, his own children. Y'all hear what I'm saying? Most High killed his own children because they would not let that iniquity that was in them go. Now, many will say, well, that's a mean God. Yeah, he all mean, won't kill people. I thought he loved everybody. Why can't he just snap his fingers and make me right? You know what I'm saying? Why can't he just snap his fingers and make me right? Well, see, that's the other thing about the Creator. His gifts are so wonderful. I mean, the Most High's gifts are so immense and wonderful that we don't even understand them. He gave us free will. He allowed us to make our own choices. That was a major gift. We're not like the animals that only do as he says. We're not like the angels that only do as he says. See why Lucifer was upset? Do you see why Hashatan was upset? Wait, I'm the most baddest thing known. I'm the creation of you, Most High. You say I'm the best angel. I'm your number one angel. I'm the most beautiful angel. I play all the most beautiful music. What you mean you're about to give them this option to not follow you? How could you? Well, I'm going to show you that you made a mistake. I'm going to make your kids worship me like I'm you. I'm going to tell you, you should have never gave them that. You should have made them be just like us. Mm-mm. You get out of grace and blessing and acting up. Yep. The Most High has had everything that he's created that was most beautiful, from Lucifer, Hashatan, to his people, turned against him. His angels left heaven and came and mated with the daughters of man, out of order. Don't be upset with your trials and tribulations, with the training, the fire that the Most High is putting you under. He's got to make sure you're worthy. You're not going to turn your back on him. In Enoch, it says, and many attribute these scriptures of Enoch as the prophecy of Yahshua, that Christians have turned into Jesus. When he said and he spoke of this, he said that Yahshua, or Jesus, was held in the wing, hidden from everyone, until he decided to let him be known. Because no one could corrupt him at that moment. He's now part of the Most High and under his tutelage. In Isaiah chapter 11, that speaks of the 7 spirits that would be upon this righteous teacher. It was the exact teachings of the Most High that this entity would embody the word of the Most High. They say he was the word manifested in flesh. So it confuses me when they say that now he was flesh, the word, but he's also the creator that said the word, and then he created himself to be flesh, and then came. Yeah, this is real out there with it, right? Let's get to Exodus, right? As they're leaving, right? We're talking the manna when it's given, right? So where it came from, we established in Psalms 78 that it came from the heavens. It was the food of the angels. In Exodus 16, Exodus chapter 16, Exodus 16, verse 14. And when the dew that lay was gone up, behold, upon the face of the wilderness there lay a small round thing, as small as the hoarfrost on the ground. So we're talking snowflakes, like, small size of a snowflake. Verse 13 said, and it came to pass that at even the quails came up and covered the camp, and in the morning dew lay round about the host, the army. So the Most High provided the flesh of the quail at night and the dew for the bread in the morning. Covered the camp, and in the morning the dew was there. So the ladies grabbed the quail, grabbed the manna, and now we got chicken and biscuits. We got chicken and biscuits, man. Get it? Most High, we've been eating chicken and biscuits since the beginning of time. the beginning of our Yasharala time, let's say that. You know what I'm talking about? Because you'll see what they did with the cakes, and you'll see that it was biscuits, right? So you'll say, Verse 14, and when the dew that lay was gone up, behold, upon the face of the wilderness there lay a small round thing as small as the hoarfrost in the ground. Let's go to Exodus. We're still in 16. We're going to drop down to verse 31. I see Ashley in the building. Verse 31 says, and the house of Yasharallah called the name thereof Manna. And the house of Yasharallah called the name thereof Manna. And it was like coriander seed, white, and the taste of it was like wafers made with honey. So we had honey biscuits and chicken. You dig? You know what I'm talking about? We had honey biscuits and chicken for our meal in the wilderness. We didn't have to hunt. The Most High made the quail come in the evening and fall down to the camp. And the Most High gave them manna that dropped down from the heavens. And Moses said, this thing which the Most High commanded, fill an omer of it to be kept for your generations, and that they may see the bread wherewith I have fed you in the wilderness when I brought you forth from the land of Egypt. So if we think that this book is not real, but yet we find manna today, yet they have documented manna before, yet they know that manna existed, and we see here in Exodus that the people of the book named it manna. Let's go to Numbers. Numbers chapter 11, verse 8. And it reads, and the people went out and gathered it and ground it in mills, or beat it in a mortar, and baked it in pans, and made cakes of it. And the taste of it was the taste of fresh oil. That's like olive oil. And when the dew fell upon the camp in the night, the manna fell upon it. So as the quails are dropping, the manna is falling. Remember, in verse 16, it said the quails came in the evening and the manna was gathered in the morning. All praises to the Most High. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 8. Chapter 8, verse 3, and it reads, and he humbled thee, and suffered thee to hunger, and fed thee with manna, which thou knowest not, neither did the fathers know, that he might make thee know that man does not live by bread only, but by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of the Most High does man live. Now, a lot of these New Age preachers and Baptist preachers will go to John chapter 6 and they will quote Yasha or their Jesus in saying that manna was not brought from the heavens, that, I guess it was made by angels, but that he was the only thing that was brought down from the heavens. Well, clearly here we see that this is what the Most High has said he brought down from the heavens. And that in the New Testament, they tell you that It is the words of Jesus that you are to live by, not the words of the Most High. That would be a contradiction. Now, Yasha and even the Jesus that they quote says the words of my Father, but somehow that gets lost in translation when the preachers preach it. I wonder why. I wonder why it gets lost in translation when the preachers preach it, that it's Jesus' words and not Yasha's word. I mean, not the Most High's words. And even more that's lost is that he says also that the ones that believe in me, not the ones that follow my words, like is in past my Father's words, but the ones that believe that I came, that my Father sent me, the ones that believe in those words that my Father sent me, those I got a special place for when this thing comes down. I'm gonna be there for you. That does not mean that the ones that follow the Most High and does not spit His words is not going to the Most High, to the heavens. And as a matter of fact, you absolutely are. As a matter of fact, you absolutely are. I can't wave to more than one person at a time. So let's go to Nehemiah chapter 9. But understanding in Deuteronomy, you know why manna is falling. We have said where manna comes from. We have said what is manna. And we said who named manna. In Numbers, it says how we use the manna. We beat it up, ground it up, made it into cakes. In Deuteronomy chapter 8:3, we are seeing why we were given this. Because the Most High said He came to humble us, to understand that He can do all things, that we don't have to do nothing. The Most High can do all things if we follow His commandments. Oh, that's powerful. He says, and He humbled thee and suffered thee to hunger and fed thee with manna, which thou knowest not, neither did the fathers know of this. No man had had manna prior to this time. It's never written in the annals of history. At that Nehemiah 9. Verse 15, Nehemiah chapter 9. And He gave them bread from heaven to their hunger. What Nehemiah says? And gave it them bread from heaven. But the New Testament says, no, it was not from heaven. Not from heaven. Nehemiah says, and gave it them bread from heaven for their hunger, and brought us forth water for them out of the rock for their thirst. So He gave them quail, He gave them bread, gave them water from a rock, and promised them that they should go in to possess the land which thou hadst sworn to give them. That's how we got Yasharallah. That's how we are Yasharallah. Get to Joshua. We're going to Joshua chapter 5. Oh, we're about to get it in tonight, guys. Don't worry. Right. Because after I give you these verses, I want you to understand who gave this, why. When we go into this report of it, when we go into Simon Toko, we need to have this basis of what we're talking about. Because I'm about to read some things that you guys are not gonna believe. I'm gonna read some things that's gonna knock you off of your seat. Yeah. And the manna ceased on the morrow after they had eaten of the old corn of the land, neither had the children of Yasharallah manna any more. But they did eat of the fruit of the land of Canaan that year. And the manna ceased on the morrow after they had eaten of the old corn of the land, neither had the children of Yasharallah manna any more, but they did eat the fruit of the land. So once the Most High had delivered the land of Canaan to us, which is Yasharallah, which was originally ours, but was taken by one of the children or grandchildren of Ham, named Canaan, which is why the name of the land is Canaan. The Most High said, I promised this land to you. I'm taking you out of Egypt. I'm going to bring you to the land I promised you. It was inhabited, but it was promised to them. So the Most High ran them through it. They're thinking they're coming out of Egypt with no army. They're coming out of Egypt with no food. They're coming out of Egypt with no water. The Most High said, if you trust in me, if you know that I am real and you understand this, if you see evil in the world, then you should know that good exists as well. You see good in your community and your mother and your family all day. So you can't say that there's nothing but evil in the world. When he gave us our land, we no longer needed the manna because now we could farm. And there was already people there that had food and provisions, and we took that and we fed off of that land that year. Let's go to Revelations. Let's see when it's going to happen again, right? When was it written in Scripture it's going to happen again? Chapter 2. Revelation chapter 2, verse 17. And it says, he that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches. Now remember, the 7 churches are in Turkey. To him that overcometh will I give to eat of the hidden manna, and will give him a white stone, and in that stone a new name written, which no man knoweth, saving he that receiveth. So the Most High in the last days in Revelation says that he has some hidden manna stored up, that anyone that eats the manna will see the stone with his new name written in it, and will have salvation. Your spirit, your soul will be saved. This manna is a serious thing. This manna is a serious thing. Let's now go into who is Simon Toko, right? Well, one, we know that in order for most people to believe anything, it has to be in somebody's book written somewhere. Or then it's just become old wives' tales, old stories, and whatnot. On your screen here, you have in the Britannica, Encyclopedia Britannica. All right. Now, this guy, Simon Kambangu, who was born in September 12, 1887, right? I want to get this other date. So Simon Toko was born in 1918, right? In a village of North Angola, right? Now, this guy, they connect him to this other guy, Simon Kambangu. Saying he was born in 1887, and he died in 1951. And this is very important to understand because Simon Toko is the man that this Simon Kumbangu followed. He witnessed all that Simon Toko did and became a follower of him and created these churches. They won't tell you that in the Encyclopedia Britannica. They're going to tell you that he was just a religious leader of a Baptist type. So it reads, Simon Kumbangu, born September 12, 1887, in Nampa, I think Kamba, in Kamba, near Tazeville, Congo Free State. Now, Mambanza, Mambanza, Nugungu, Democratic Republic of Congo, where they say they got a lot of the slaves from the transatlantic slave trade, right? From the Congo. We have a Congo Square here in New Orleans. From those slaves that we hear that got with the Indians, the Aboriginal, and traded our culture and meshed as one here in New Orleans. Some of those came from this very Congo. He died October 10th, day I was born, in 1972. In 1951, in Elizabethville, Belgian Congo, now Lumbusbasha, Democratic Republic of Congo, the Congolese religious leader who founded a separatist church known as the Kumbanguist Church, brought up in British Baptist. He was brought up in a British Baptist Missionary Society mission, right? Kumbangu suddenly became famous among the Bakongo people of Lower Congo in April of 1921. Remember that. He was reputed to heal the sick and raise the dead, and thousands came to hear his preaching. He was called Munganza, the Kakongo word for prophet in the Baptist translation of the Bible. Although Kumbangu's preaching had no overtly political content, no politics, Belgian authorities, alarmed by the disturbance that he provoked, arrested him and his immediate followers in September 1921. He was condemned to death, but was commuted. He spent the rest of his life in prison in Elizabethville. Meanwhile, his followers and imitators spread Nuganzium, or as it came to be called, Kumbanguism, in the Belgian Congo and the neighboring French Congo of Angola. During the African nationalist ferment in the 1950s, Kumbanguists and Nakamba, led by the youngest of the prophet's three sons, Joseph, Daingainda Ku Natima, founded the Kumbanguist Church, who received official recognition in September 1959. Now the question here is, who recognized it? Who made it official? Well, that would be the Catholic Church, right? That's the only ones that's calling people official religion or not, right? So then it says, of Jesus Christ on earth through the prophet Simon Kumbangu, largest independent African church and the first to be admitted in 1969 to the World Council of Churches. It takes its name from the founder Simon Kumbangu, the Baptist mission Chettius of the Lower Congo region, who on April 21st inaugurated the mass movement through his miraculous healing and biblical teaching. But yet the authorities arrested him. No politics, only about the Most High and healing people. In October 1921, Kumbangu was charged with insurrection by the Belgian colonial authorities and imprisoned for life. In its diverse forms of the movement continued clandestinely as Nuganzium or prophetism, and mass deportations during government persecutions only helped to spread it. After toleration in 1957, three emerged the main organization group that was legally recognized in 1959. This church spread widely in Central Africa, transcending class, tribal, and national boundaries, and developed a heretical organization under Kumbango's three sons, with Nakumba, the prophet, birth, and final burial place called the New Jerusalem. The New Jerusalem. New Jerusalem. So let's go and find out who Simon Toko is. So Simon Toko, right? The African Messiah, the third secret of Fatima. They call him the Avatar Simon Toko. This guy Tom Dark notes the following is an excerpt I have culled from chapter 7 of the book with the permission. Some of the writings have been edited so as to confuse the reader who will be reading this out of its context. I see a Better Day Ministry in the building. We're reading about a brother named Simon Toko in Angola, and we just read about Simon Kumbango. Now, fragile beginnings. Simon Toko was born on February 24th, 1918. Remember, Simon Kumbango was born in 1887. And so Simon Toko in 18, a village in northern Angola. Psalm 48, 300. Portentously named Sadi Banzi Zulu Mongo, village of the Celestial Mountain. The newborn emerged from his mother's womb into a very hostile environment. For almost 50 years, from 1872 to 1921, this region suffered natural disasters. There were long droughts between short lulls. Northern Angola and southern regions of the French and Belgian Congos were devastated. The resilient famines killed thousands. So too there were thousands of deaths brought by smallpox, typhoid, sleeping sickness, malaria, and other diseases. These different plagues represent the fulfillment of a biblical prediction. None but a few people inspired by the words of the Most High recognized this. And the dragon stood before, which was already to be delivered to be devoured, to devour her children as soon as was born. Revelations 12:4. The baby Simon Toko was born mere inches from sickness and famine and plague and death, and many leagues from safety. There was not much reason for a baby to want to live, and much against it. The infant Toko caught smallpox. He was so badly affected by it that the villagers thought the hand of the Almighty Father alone saved his life. He was left in the unpleasant marring. His face was marred of smallpox scars on his face. Compare this prophecy to Isaiah's, right? Isaiah chapter 52:14, and it says, "As many were astonished at thee, his vestige was so marred more than any man, and his face and his form more than the sons of men." Not long after Simon's birth, a missionary at the Baptist Missionary Society based in Angola had a dream. He dreamed that a great king had been born in the region under the ministry. Now, understand that he decided to go looking for this baby, requesting guidance from the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit. He came to the baby Simon Toko, staring at an infant so wretched, like a weak and tender plant, and with so blemished a little face. He shook his head. Doubt had come to stay. He said, doubt had come to stay. He asked one or two questions and left, feeling victimized by his dream and the voice that had led him there. In 1949, Simon attended an international conference of Protestants in Leopoldville. where Leopold cut all of their hands off, and currently called Kinshasa. During this event, the ceremonial masters asked 3 Africans from Angola to pray. Those selected were Gaspar de Alameda, Jesse Chahulo Chapinda, and Simon Toko. Simon Toko asked in his public prayer that the Holy Spirit manifest in Africa to put an end to the abuse of the colonial powers. Toko became a dedicated member of this Baptist church in Ithaca. He formed a singing choir of 12 people. Instantly, this choir became famous, and from 12 members, it grew into hundreds. At each of the choir performances, whether at the church or while visiting another church, the Holy Ruach HaKodesh manifested with such a prayer that white missionaries suspected that young Toko of possessing black magic powers. Jealousy, the missionaries summoned him to abandon his dark practices. He responded to them by saying, But if we are praying to the same Creator, how come when I pray and there is a manifestation of the Ruach HaKodesh, you accuse me of sorcery? Is it because I am an African that my prayers couldn't possibly be answered? Does the Ruach HaKodesh discriminate against Africans too? See Samuel chapter 10, verse 10, right? I'm going to put that one up. I'm going to go back to that. And it says, but the missionaries were fed up with him and decided to exclude him from the church. Then, what was meant to happen happened. All those who had joined the church on the inspiration of Simon's magnificent choir left the church with him. The question was whether Simon Toko would abandon these followers or keep them with him. He decided to keep them with him, releasing all the same that a very harsh duty awaited him. He decided to pray again to his father, repenting the same prayer he made 3 years before the Baptist conference. I'm giving you all this information because I'm about to read some of the things that he's done that is going to blow you away. You need to have this understanding because you're going to want to ask these questions after I tell you what he's done. On July 25th, 1949, Simon and 35 members of his choir met on a street called Mayinge at the house of a man named Vinga Ambrosio. They're giving you names. The choir began to sing, waiting for this time to pray. Shortly before midnight, Simon Toko lifted his eyes to the sky and he addressed this prayer to his father. Father, I know you always answer my prayers. Ooh. Now look, consider these sheep you have sent to me. This duty is so immense that without the Ruach HaKodesh, the Comforter, we will never be able to achieve what you intended. The prayer I addressed to you 3 years ago, didn't you hear it? Remember, Simon asked the Most High to bring the Ruach HaKodesh to take them out of the bondage of the Dutch and the French. At precisely midnight, a strong wind shook the house, and the Ruach HaKodesh possessed everyone at prayer meeting. I want y'all to take note that the man said, I prayed this prayer 3 years ago. For many of us that, get to the point and say, I didn't pray this prayer and it ain't happened. Well, Simon addressed the Most High and said, I asked you, did you not hear when I came at you with this thing that I needed? And at midnight, strong wind shook the house, and the Ruach HaKodesh possessed everyone at the prayer meeting, with an exception of a man called Sanso Alphonse, the choir leader. The Most High let him remain in an ordinary frame of mind so that he could write down the testimonials and miracles taking place before his dumbfounded eyes. Many in the group were speaking in tongues. Some saw heavenly light and heard celestial voices. Others were able to communicate clearly with people several kilometers from where the prayer was taking place. The excitement about the miracles that happened at this Protestant-led Simon Toko follower to spread all over the start, preaching the building of God's creation, God's kingdom. Now, I want you to understand the word that they used there, which was Pentecost. I'm sorry, not Protestant, but Pentecost. Pentecost are the people that were Protestants. Protestants were reformers. They were the ones that were against the way the Christians were doing things. This attracted the attention of Belgian colonial authorities who viewed the activities as a threatening commotion. Within about 3 months, the police began jailing the preachers. They were jailed and prosecuted and promptly, as were the Kumbunguists. See? So at the same time, this guy Simon Kumbunguist was going through what he was going through, Simon Toko was doing the same thing. The followers of Simon Toko's messenger, Simon Kumbunguist, who himself was imprisoned, so they believed that Simon Kumbungu was a messenger of Simon Toko's. Right? The followers of Simon Toko's messenger. It says, as properly as were the Kumbunguists. The followers of Simon Toko's messenger, Simon Kumbungu, who himself was imprisoned in 1921 until his death in 1951, some were beheaded, burned alive in their homes, drowned in the river, or shot without being prosecuted. Finally, the colonialists decided to deport them. The wives, husbands, and children were separated from their families and their homes by hundreds and even thousands of kilometers. The miracle started taking place among the new followers of Kumbungu. The Belgian authorities tried to suffocate the new messianic group at once. On October 22nd, October 1941, Simon Toko and 3,000 of his companions were put into 2 different jails, Oforoto and Nadolo. After 3 months in the jail, a decree was passed to deport them out of the country. This is when Simon Toko started revealing himself. Belgian administrator of the jail in Nandolo was named Perot. He abused the Tokoist prisoners, that's the people that followed Toko, hurling racist insults. He always ended with filthy nigger. You're going back to nigger country in Angola. Tired of his abuse, Simon Toko replied sharply to Perot, know that if there is a stranger here, it is you. To show you that I am home, the day you make the injustice of deporting me from Belgian Congo, I will have you carrying my bags alongside me. Simon Toko held up both hands and spread his fingers and told the abusive Belgian to count them. He said, I give 10 years to the Belgians, not one more or less to leave this country. Not at one. Now, I said, no one at the time comprehended these sublime words. However, the disciples of Simon Toko understood later. The day after they were deported, Perot fell dead. He was gripped with an apparent heart attack while working in his office and died as suddenly as though a bullet had struck him squarely. As for the other mystery statement made by Simon Toko, 10 years later in 1960, the Belgians were obliged to leave their rich colony of Congo. But to impel this event, Simon Toko unleashed his army. An incredible story is very well known throughout Central Africa and will be reported in greater detail in another book. This event was witnessed by thousands of people on January 4th, 1959. Some of the author's own relatives were there, but so are there thousands of citizens of that city of Kinshasa, who witnessed it on the day, alive at this writing. January 4th is now a public holiday in Kinshasa and commemorates this event. Kinshasa was called Leopoldville. This is where they chopped off all the hands, where Leopold of the Dutch killed so many of our people, way worse than what happened in our chattel slavery in America. On that day, the cherubim and seraphim appeared and stood against the Belgian colonial army. The citizens of Leopoldville saw an army of about 1,000 very small men, about the size of children or dwarfs, with very muscular, imposing bodies. Each of these diminutive human-looking creatures showed great strength. For example, a witness saw one of them lift up a 5-ton truck over with one arm. The Belgian soldiers fired at these little brown angels, to no effect. Terrified, the colonial armies were thrown into confusion. The little men disappeared as suddenly as they appeared. 1 year after this amazing mass of apparition, the Democratic Republic of Congo was a new and independent country. None of us in America has heard this story of how the Republic of Congo got its independence. It is documented of what this man did. We're going to go to this Tumblr. So I want you guys to truly understand what and who this guy did. So this is in Tumblr. This is an article by Neocon, Noicon. And this you can just go to noicon.tumblr, tumblr.com, and this will pop up for you. So Simon Toko is called Risen Son of Man or Myth. Simon Toko, real Makar or mystical avatar, a fictional, hyped up character, or merely a brilliant military strategist and propagandist. So it reads, African avatars and the third secret of Fatima. It says Christian churches and colonial governments tried to eradicate African spiritual master even into the late 20th century, but never destroyed their influence. Few Westerners are aware of the spectacular religious activity that has been thundering with incalculable exuberance through the hearts of millions of Africans in our just past century. Men and women have been seeing visions after visions, signs after signs, wonders after wonders. There are national holidays commemorating miracles, not from centuries ago by some old saint whose paint has long since peeled, but within the last few decades and witnessed by thousands of ordinary citizens still walking among us. January 4th, 1959, witnesses attest that many cherubim of the Most High. I read you all night tonight about the manna that the Most High provided, how the quail the Most High provided. Now I'm reading to you about, and I also read to you about how Yasha in John 6 says that he is like the same manna that was provided to us in the wilderness. Just like Ezekiel, Isaiah, Jeremiah, was provided for us. It says January 4th, 1959, witnesses attest that many cherubim and seraphim emerged and held off Belgium colonial army. Citizens of Leopoldville saw an army of about 1,000 angels, non-terrestrials, very muscular bodies imposing. These human-looking beings, but with supernatural powers, demonstrating an extraordinary force. For example, a witness saw one of them on the road sweeping a 5-ton truck with one hand. Belgian soldiers opened fire on these angels, but to no effect. Colonial armies were in panic and disorder. Angels disappeared as suddenly as had appeared. According to the African narrative that day, Simon Toko had unleashed his army. The 4th of January is the day of celebration today in Kinshasa. In Kinshasa, Congo, man, Angola. They have a holiday because they are not under the European rule. They set their holidays on what has happened to their people. That's why it's not history, it's not their story. They have a real life Isaiah. They had a real life Elijah. that brought forth cherubim in 1959. In 1959. And what was happening in America? Were we not rising up? Did we not have a Malcolm and a Martin? Did we not have so-called people that were trying to take us to the place, trying to get us back to the book? Malcolm with the Quran was still having the Torah base. Malcolm, on so many of his speeches, said that we were the people of the book. It says, a year after this extraordinary event, Congo became an independent country, for the Belgians were forced to leave their rich colonies. Simon Toko, a reincarnation of Simon Kambango, they say, appeared before people in apparition body and in dream states while he was physically alive, and continues to do the same among certain people, selected people 17 years after his willing natural death. At least one witness says that he personally killed this man. I want to read that again. At least one witness says that he personally killed this man quite professionally as a hired killer and saw him alive again a few days later. Excuse me. Others still living at the time of this writing saw that say they saw Toko physically slaughtered and watched him bring himself back to life before their astonished eyes. There is a very large body of testimony of which only a little has yet been recorded or written down from witnesses. When you read, as I have done, deep diving on this before I brought this to you guys, because the Most High know I prayed the prayer often to not be a false prophet, to not lead his flock in any direction but to him. So I'm not telling you guys to worship this Simon Toko. I'm not telling you this Simon Toko is the Jesus. What I'm telling you that the Most High has been sending these types to us throughout time, and that we should know that he's still doing it. And as the manna that continues to fall this day, the video I'm about to show you, the recorded proof of this manna that is still falling today. The Most High has given us prophets again and again and again to this day. So when they say that he was chopped, mutilated, they set him up to kill him by telling him to go and clean up underneath this riding moor, so to speak. And when he went underneath it to pull out the clod, the guy hopped on it and cut it on and chopped him underneath it, and his body reassembled. Oh, that's not the last thing he did. And it says, and watched him bring himself back to life before their astonished eyes. There is a very large body of testimony, of which only a little has been recorded or written down from eyewitnesses. May 13, 1917, a lady of Fatima, Portugal, predicted the fall of Russia to communism, the end of the First World War, and the coming of the Second World War. John the 23rd ordered the third secret sealed up in a vault forever. The third secret of Fatima announces his birth, which occurred 9 months after the initial appearance, and cities biblically passages that make a case for Simon Toko was Christ's return. Simon Toko is the first among this raft of candidates to stand up to meticulous interpretations of biblical prophecy. Even the famous like lightning from east to wind line through thought to mean that Christ appears somehow in a perpetual abstract is covered by the Tokists. The appearance of the Virgin at Fatima was preceded by lightning, flashing east to west every time. During the night of December 31st to January 1st, 1984, when the media announced the death of Simon Toko, thunderclaps of virtually seismic forces and torrential rains burst the skies of Luanda. It had not rained in this area for several years. Meteorologists were mystified. For 3 days, the rain fell continuously. The occurrence of this event was attributed to all of the rumors surrounding the death of the great prophet. Simon Toko was born February 24th, 1918, in the North Village of Angola, not long after Simon's birth. Right, y'all read that to y'all, right? And that gave you all of him. But I gotta tell you the last one that he did, right? Of all his performances, right, and how he got people, right? October 22nd, 1949, Simon Toko started revealing himself and held up both hands and spread his fingers and told abuse of Belgium, right? 10 years. And as far as other mysteries, the Belgian was released. His other mysteries, a statement of 10 years later, in 1960, the Belgians were obliged to leave their rich colony of Congo. During a stay in Angola in 1994, a testimony of Pastor Adiliano Kahandi was collected. Now, in 1994, this was a testimony of a pastor who was a cook at the Kokanda agricultural compound. He saw what happened. He said when he was under the engine, the foreman sitting in the driver's seat started it up, which automatically activated the rotating blades of the seed sower. Simon Toko's body was instantly severed in several pieces. Then the unbelievable happened. Before Kahandi and two Portuguese accomplices, the body of Simon Toko recomposed itself, and Simon Toko stood up. Another one. Using a brief biblical quotation, Simon Toko gave Pope John the 23rd to understand that what the Pope had found in the note written by Lucia dos Santos was true. So the Pope and them found out about Simon, and they sent somebody down to holler at Simon. Simon, oh well, I didn't realize what time it was. I didn't got deep into this. Let me get to this video. We're gonna do a part 2 on Simon Toko because I want to get into this video. So I want to let y'all get out of here by midnight. I see in the building, Big Queen. I see my brother Juwan in the building. So the Simon Toko, after I told you all that he got chopped up, I told you that they had eyewitnesses, they have names for all of this. There's a holiday commemorating the acts of this Simon Toko. The Pope sent somebody to speak to Simon. Simon gave him a scripture to go and read that said that as the guy that went to go and ask Yasha or the Jesus story of what it was, he gave him Matthew 24, that you've seen the healing, I am what the people say. So this is what he's saying, that was the note that was written by Lucia dos Santos was true. Fearing who it was now living among the most disdained people on earth, the Pope contacted the Portuguese director Antonio de Salazar. In the plane sat a Catholic priest and a member of Salazar's secret police. So they grabbed Simon Toko, or bringing Simon Toko to speak, right? To speak to the Portuguese president to get this information, to ask him. The Pope has Simon Toko brought into the Portuguese president. Portuguese president then tries to kill Simon Toko. So he says, Portuguese director Antonio de Salazar. In the plane sat a Catholic, and this is the account from the dictator, the Portuguese dictator, Antonio de Salazar. So you can look him up in history. In the plane sat a Catholic priest and members of Salazar's secret police, PIDDGS, including the pilot and the co-pilot. Their mission was to fly over the Atlantic Ocean and after about an hour distance, push Simon Toko out of the plane into the deep sea. The moment the PID agents rose to subdue him and carry out their murder, Simon Toko stood up and ordered the plane to stop. The aircraft stopped in midair. It stood still, not advancing an inch, nor rose or fell backwards. The crew was stricken in panic. The priest could hardly breathe and hoarsely huffed out desperate prayers. Simon lifted his eyes and hands towards the heavens, and after a short prayer, he ordered the plane to move again. At once, the plane started moving. Another story refers to the most remarkable attempt by some astonishingly misguided men to kill Simon Toko under the dictator Antonio Salazar orders. Some doctors found themselves reading the reports of his purported invulnerability. They thought they might pass the time by drilling for the secret, which seemed to protect the mysterious African man. They meant to perform an autopsy on a living human being. Yeah, they wanted to subdue him and do a human autopsy under the pretext of removing a tumor from his chest. The doctors had Simon Toko taken to the hospital. They put him on an operating table, cut a jagged mortal wound in the left side of his center of his chest, reached into the chest cavity, and pulled out his still beating heart. The aorta and other arteries were severed by scalpel, and his heart was removed. Simon lay dead, his body covered with a warm blood that splashed out of his heart and chest. Simon Toko came to on the operating table. To their horror and bewilderment, his heartless corpse was moving on its own volition. He opened his eyes, sat up, and looked at them. The chest wound by which they had casually murdered him, gaping open. "Why are you persecuting me this way?" he said to them. "Give me back my heart." Now, I'm going to stop there, and we're going to pick this up on Monday night and finish going into Simon Toko. Now I'm going to play you the video to show you that the manna is still falling, that the Most High's covenant is still here and is going nowhere. That on this Shabbat, know that the Father is here. Know that the Creator hears your prayers. Know that He loves you. Know that you know that you know. And I don't really think I've done justice of this story. I don't think that I've done justice of these scripts tonight, because this should hit you somewhere. This should make you feel something. Let's get to this video. One second, guys, just moving everything over.
Until today, people are still eating it. Times were hard at the Number Adventist Mission. Until today, people are still eating it.
Curiosity killed the cat, and so SIT Media's director, Noel Sibanda, visited the area in the southern part of Angola to get the first-hand information. And as they say, the proof of the pudding is in the eating.
Here we are at Nama Adventist Mission Station. We came, we saw, we smelled, we touched, and now I'm tasting for the third time just to convince you that indeed this is manna from heaven. The taste, I can't describe it. It tastes of everything that I've ever eaten that is so good.
I've also come to taste the manna, and I can't really describe how it tastes like. It is like honey-like. It's like a cake. But I really don't have words to describe how it tastes like. Exactly, I don't know how to describe it. I just know that it's white and it's sweet. But the real taste, I can't have anything to compare with.
This story of number, I've been just reading it in Storytime in Africa book. I taught my kids when they were growing with that story. And when my kids heard that we are going to Angola, they asked me, Manu, is that the same place where manna was falling? I said, yes, but it should be in Angola, but I don't know exactly where that place is. But when we came here in Angola, we inquired of the place. They said, yes, actually, even now, manna is still falling. And I'm happy that I've visited the place today. And I picked a few pieces of it. I tasted it. It's very nice. When you are eating it, it's like something mixed with sweet, and there's a good fragrance on it. So you cannot really explain the way it is, but it's a very nice food.
Wow, it has been really a great experience here because stories have been going all over. I have heard about it. I tried to Google about it. And of course, when I Googled it, I found a small piece by Sons of Times, which was documented there. But even after I saw it, there were still doubts from my colleagues that I informed about it. Well, this morning we made it to come here, and I still can't believe that I'm here. And we've got a bit of it here. It's a bit hard. The text is hard. I think it has dried up a bit. It's more or less like a cake's icing sugar that has been dried, because it's very tasty, very sweet.
The history of manna falling at Namba Adventist Station in the southern parts of Angola dates back to more than 50 years ago when there was a famine in this area. Villagers had to walk long distance to look for food, and those who harvested a little bit had to sweat it out to grind the maize meal into mealie meal, a very labor-intensive exercise, but the job had to be done. The mission station was destroyed during the civil war in Angola that lasted more than 20 years. When the mission station was destroyed by the rebels, manna stopped falling and only started falling again when the mission station was rebuilt. This is a living miracle, and all this shows us the presence of God. This Adventist mission station must be preserved by all means. On the day the mission station was dedicated to the Lord, manna felt like it has never happened before, and the community was terrified.
I was born in this place. I grew up in the same place. And from my childhood, I've been witnessing this miracle of manna falling. But something which really troubled me, and it was a very big miracle, it happened in 2010. That year, after the mission has been renewed, there was a big miracle happening where manna fell in such quantities which we have never seen before. It fell actually from beyond that side of the church. It fell even up to the mountain. All the ground was covered with manna. This happened in a time when the mission has been renewed, and people were marveling. They were wondering, why is it that manna never fell in such a way and it's falling in that way? People were afraid. He said we were to come out and call people to come and collect manna, but they refused. They were afraid because it was too much. The whole ground was covered with manna, so people were afraid coming out of their homes to collect it. And only little children came and collected it. When the information reached the union, Pastor Teodoro and Pastor Gilberto from Brazil and Pastor Sabino from Portugal, they came to witness the miracle because the manna was kept up to when they came, and they were shown what was really happening at this place. Manna fell as never before.
Sometime in the past, there was a famine around the area, and people had no food.
It's very
They
important.
decided to fast and pray to God.
Here we go.
By the late Pastor Seke was the director of the mission station. He was away, and only women were around, but no food. After 3 days of prayer, they received manna. A small girl came to this bush and found some things that looked like bread but white, and she met two men who said, "Take and eat." She ate and carried some back home. And when the parents saw her, they said, "What is it you are having in your hands?" She says, "I don't know, but I've eaten." They said, "Don't eat, throw." She said, "I've already eaten. The men that I met told me to eat." And they went to look for the men. They were not there. Those two men disappeared. And the people went and picked the manna and ate. And they were falling every day except on Sabbath.
Except on
And
Saturday.
this manna has been falling these days. It falls Wednesdays and Fridays
Wednesdays and
if
Fridays.
it's not raining. Unfortunately, today, when we came, it rained in the night. But manna fell. We still managed to find a bit of it, and as evidence that it was there.
Don't have words to describe how I feel now. I can actually quote what another pastor
Right.
said when he preached about the manna which the Israelites saw in the desert. And he said, when they saw it for the first time, they just questioned, what is it? And that's the same question I have now. What is it? Because I can't even describe it. It's a miracle.
There is a miracle within a miracle regarding the falling of manna at Namba Adventist Mission Station. When the church members are not in good standing order with the Lord, the manna that falls is not white, but is blood-like and very bitter.
Blood-like and
The
bitter.
falling of manna has to do with the believers
With
also
what? The
around.
believers.
If in this congregation, one of the believers is not walking well with God, the manna that will fall that week will be bitter, and that until there is a revival among the members.
It's also good to consider that when Valente was the administrator of this place, there was this time when he was living in sin. For that reason, manna fell, but this manna was no longer white as it is today. It was white and red.
White and
It was
red.
red and white. And for that reason, people tried to test it, and it was tasting bitter because the administrator of the place was living in sin. So from that point, we got to know that this manna really is God who sends the manna to this place. However, it is sweet as it is today, it is taste as it is today, only when God's children in this place stand in His word, live according to His principles. When someone somewhere among the people of this congregation live outward the church, when they live on their own way, not according to what the laws approve, the manna will fall, but it won't be eatable one. It will be bitter manna, and it will even change the color. It will be red manna. This white manna only falls when God's children stand in His word, when God's children live according to what He approves.
Testimonies here are really moving, that the Lord is a witness to our characters. He takes record and is concerned of our lifestyle, how we relate in secret and in public. He sees whatever is hidden. And so, like in the times of old, when Israel sinned against God, calamities came upon the land of Israel. And in the same manner here, when this congregation, one person, especially the leaders, go astray, they harbor some sin, many people will suffer.
As we live in the last days, the miracle taking place in South Angola Union is a living testimony that the Lord is there and still cares for his people. For 34 Degrees South, I'm Norris Manda reporting from Namba in Angola.
All right. One second, guys. I got wires. I got lights. I got things going on. So, as we see, yeah, I want to get that glare up off of there. So, all right. So, as we are saying, manna is falling from the sky. There's not, there's not much else that can or needs to be said, really, right? I mean, manna falling from the sky. The Most High says that, I mean, according to them, when they're not following him righteously, it's red, it's bitter. When they're following him, it's pure, it's sweet. That's all of us in our lives, right? That's where all of us need to be, right? The Most High treats us the same way. We following him, life can be sweet. If we don't, it can be quite bitter. Like that, 'cause that's just life was just really getting massive there. So we're gonna read this 40, and I'm gonna let you guys go for the night. And it says, I waited patiently on the Most High, and he inclined unto me and heard my cry. He brought me up also out of a horrible pit, out of a miry clay. We're in a miry clay. It is the last kingdom that Daniel prophesied of, and it would be of a miry clay, and set my feet upon a rock and established my goings. And he has put a new song in my mouth, even praise unto our Elohim. Many shall see it and fear, and shall trust in the Most High. Many shall see it and fear. The man on the video said that they had so much one time all the way up to the mountains that the people were afraid to even collect it. Verse 4, blessed is the man that makes the Most High his trust, and respects not the proud, nor such as turn aside to lies. Many, O Most High, are your wonderful works which you have done, and your thoughts which are towards us. They cannot be reckoned they cannot be reckoned up in order unto you. If I would declare and speak of them, they are more than can be numbered. Sacrifice and offering you did not desire, but a body you have prepared me. Burnt offerings and sin offering you have not required. Then said I, lo, I come. In the rolls of the Sefer it is written of me, I delight to do your will. It says the Sefer is of me. The Sefer is of you. The Sefer is of us. We are the body. It says, I delight to do your will, O Most High. Yea, your Torah is within my heart. I have preached righteousness in the great assembly. Lo, I have not refrained my lips. O Most High, you know, I have not hid your righteousness within my heart. I have declared your faithfulness and your salvation. I have not concealed your loving kindness to your truth from the great assembly. Withhold not you your tender mercies from me, O Most High. Let your loving kindness and your truth continually preserve me. For innumerable evils have compassed me about. My iniquities have taken hold upon me. That's the things in my own heart, the own things in our flesh, so that I am not able to look up. They are more than me, that they are more than the hairs of my head.